So next up, we have our youngest speaker, Swan, who has been working in the F&B industry for 7 years, since she was 14 years old. Low pay, unpaid overtime wages, stealing of tips, and being required to stand unnecessarily long hours made her realize that these are some of the many ways employers exploit workers. Swan believes that change in F&B is both necessary and possible. Yes!
Hello? Okay. Hi, how many of us here today are hospitality workers? Make some noise, come. Not loud enough, come. Okay, so those of us who work retail and F&B learn what pain means through the blisters on our feet and the painful aches in our bones from standing for long hours unnecessarily, even when there are no customers around. Are we not sick of how they treat us like cogs in a machine? Sick or not? I learned what cruelty was through witnessing the peeling, cracked and calloused hands of dishwashers whose employers wouldn't even spend a single cent buying them gloves. I learned what exhaustion was when I found out that the migrant workers at the place I worked at were working 16-hour weeks, 16-hour shifts, 7 days a week for years. Exactly, be angry. Okay. Is it not legalized robbery when paying migrant workers as low as $2 an hour is allowed? When there is no universal minimum wage that keeps up with inflation, workers are forced into working longer hours to make ends meet. I learned what authoritarianism meant when I started to recognize that lifeless, empty, glassy look in the eyes of all the overworked workers around me. They are afraid to speak up even when they suffer terrible conditions. Doesn't that kill our spirit? It made me ask, isn't it weird that we are not taught about the importance of democracy in the workplace? After all, we spend 8 hours a day for most of our adult lives working. How much time do we spend voting in comparison? And yet, while we spend most of our lives working for the bosses that profit off our work, they have the audacity to cut our breaks short because the outlet is busy or don't pay us OT or public holiday pay and sick leave. That is our bosses violently stealing from us. They steal our health, our wages, our time, and our very lives. When the 10% of service charge we always see on our receipt or the money in the tick box never appears in our pay slips, I ask myself, who does the service? It's the workers on the ground that do it, right or not? Am I right or wrong? If it's the workers that provide the service, not paying us the service charge and taking our tips is wage theft. When workers are required to subsidize business costs by paying for our uniforms or equipment, like how Grab Food requires workers to buy the delivery bags and uniform, or when your employer requires you to pay for accidentally dropping food in a restaurant as a worker, that is wage theft. Do we earn the profits of the business? Then why on earth must we pay to run it? When paying workers of different nationalities different amounts for the same work is allowed, as we saw in the SBS bus strike in 2012. That is the company stealing from the workers they discriminate against and pay less. How about when your employer expects you to respond to work-related messages on your rest day after your shift is over or when you are on leave? Do they pay you to respond? No, right? then why should we have to respond? No pay, no work. No pay, no pay. That's right. Okay. If someone came to your house and stole $500 worth of goods, or even stole $50 from your wallet, would you be mad? Would you report police? But when our bosses steal our wages by taking our tips and service charge for themselves, when they steal our OT and public holiday pay us late or not at all, are they not robbing us? The most vicious thieves of our society are the ones that rob us every single day at work. The rampant industry-wide culture of illegally coercing workers to find replacements before they go on sick leave. Inhumane or not? Are we robots or humans? Robot or human? COVID taught us all the importance of sick leave, not just for our own health, but for public health. But it seems that these companies would rather risk the health of workers and the public just to make some more money. The penalties we have don't seem to deter them enough from risking the health of workers and society. So, we must demand heavier penalties for this kind of abuse. We have been taught to suck it up and take it, that we do not have the power to change things. Well, look around you. No, like literally, look around you. Who runs your workplaces? Workers like you or your boss and the shareholders? Workers do. We are the majority. We are the ones that provide services, produce goods, and run this city. Nothing will function without us. That is how powerful we are. Look at history. It was the ordinary workers just like us that won us the 8-hour work week, the weekend, and paid parental leave. The people that tell us we do not have power are afraid of what we can do if we realize how much power we hold. We deserve the right to sit, to not respond after work, to unionize, to a minimum wage, to independent and free unions so that we can be protected. But change has never and will never come without us demanding and fighting for it. So what can you do? You can join a movement to start fighting back, and you can demand for your rights to be here today. It will be a long fight, and we will not always win. But do you want to be heard? Not allowed enough, don't wanna? Seriously or not? Then we have to make ourselves heard and take our rights seriously. Power to